All right, class, welcome to Chapter 12. So for Chapters 12 and 13, we're actually going to be starting to kind of focus more on the total rewards benefits sides of things as opposed to true compensation. Now, of course, compensation still plays into this, but again, we're going to kind of shift a little bit for the next couple of chapters and talk about benefits specifically. So, benefits really are basically everything that's not monetary, like actual payment that you get. So your health insurance, vision, dental, life insurance, things like your pension, anything retirement related, and even little things like you need to use a company car or tuition reimbursement. Anything along those lines are technically considered benefits. Now, most of us are probably familiar with the basic benefits, health insurance, things along those lines, but benefits really encompasses a lot much more broader scale than just those. And usually with benefits, there's not a tangible aspect to it. So obviously you can't see your health insurance at work, but when those health insurance bills come, you'll be glad that you have insurance to be able to cover the cost because of just how, astronomical the prices have gotten lately. So, and usually, and especially with a lot of, younger generations and even some older generations, a lot of people are selecting their jobs based on the benefits themselves. I mean, obviously the salary that you make is very important, but at the same time, you also need to make sure that, if a company offers better health insurance or better retirement, those are major things that employees and potential employees look for, whether they're looking to go to a company or to stay at a company. And, here at Oklahoma State, we're very lucky from an employee standpoint because we have amazing health insurance. We have really good retirement. We have some of the best benefits in the entire state, in my opinion. So even though, we don't have the highest salaries in the world here at OSU, it more than makes up for it with the benefits that we offer, which creates this total compensation package that helps us be able to, make a good living and be healthy and everything. So we're very, very lucky from that perspective. And the reason why benefits have gotten so big is, there's just so many different things that go along with it. So, on this slide, and we're going to talk about it more in the next chapter, but there's really only technically 3 required benefits that every employee gets: workers' compensation, unemployment, and Social Security. Anything else is voluntary. Those are the only 3 things that the government actually requires employers to offer employees as part of employment. So a lot of people think that I'm guaranteed to have health insurance, or I'm guaranteed to have vacation and sick time. Well, technically you're not. I mean, I don't think companies would stay in business very long if they didn't offer time off and they didn't offer, medical insurance. They probably wouldn't be in business very long, but technically they're not required to offer it if they don't want to. So that's why companies literally spend billions of dollars trying to find the best ways to keep their employees through these things. So workers' comp, unemployment, and Social Security are the only 3 federally mandated. Now, the individual U.S. states can have their own requirements, but from a federal standpoint, those are the only 3. And then you see ERISA and a few other things that are listed right there are some kind of quasi-required, and we'll talk about them a little bit more in the next chapter as well. But just kind of keep these aspects in mind when we're talking about what we want to do next. So when we're looking at actually setting up a benefits package, we're trying to figure out what should we offer. Do we want to offer pet insurance? Do we want to offer long-term disability? Do we want to offer short-term disability? Whatever we want to offer, there's 4 questions that we need to ask. Is first off, who should be protected or benefited? So are we just saying that it can only be the employee, or are we willing to cover the employee and his or her spouse and their children, or anybody else beyond that? So obviously most companies with their health insurance, they allow families to be protected. Obviously, your best friend, not related to you, obviously you can't protect him under most benefits plans. But again, obviously initially it was designed just to be for one person, but as time has gone on, most health insurance covers a whole family. And how much choice should employees have with those benefits? That's kind of one of the bigger trends right now in total rewards compensation is how much choice do employees get? Take here at Oklahoma State. I think I've talked about this earlier in the semester. If you think about one of the great benefits of working here at Oklahoma State is if you have children, they get to go to school here more or less for free. They get a significant tuition benefit that the university will cover the cost of their tuition because you're an employee. Which is a really, really good benefit, and you can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars theoretically as an employee. But what if you don't have kids? What if you are single, or even if you're married and you don't have children? Well, if you don't have children, you can't take advantage of that benefit. So a lot of individuals will say, well, it's a great benefit OSU offers, but if I can't use it because I don't qualify, what else can you offer me? So companies are kind of faced with this choice about what should they do if they offer benefits that not every single person could take advantage of. So how much choice should employees have in regards to that? How are benefits going to be financed? Obviously, benefits and employee salaries are no different than your marketing budget or your construction budget. There's a cost to it. So how are companies going to pay for it? Are they going to cover 100% of the cost, or are they going to ask you to chip in and pay a deductible or a premium? And we'll talk about those later, about how much you are going to have to contribute to your own health insurance and your own wellness. And a lot of times they may charge you a certain rate, but they'll give you a discount. So like here at Oklahoma State, as an employee, we get a $20 credit per month on our health insurance premiums if we do not use tobacco, if we don't smoke. We have to sign a waiver saying that we do not smoke, and therefore we get an extra benefit on our health insurance because long term we're actually saving OSU money. That's just one benefit that we were able to achieve. So how are these going to be financed? It's a great question. And then finally, are the benefits legally defensible? Obviously companies theoretically could offer something illegal. Like for example, marijuana is still kind of a situation it's legal in some states, it's illegal in other states. Well, if you're in a state that maybe you work for a company that's over multiple states, if the company offers you a premium on marijuana, again, I'm just making this up, in California where it's legal, but then you go to a state where it's illegal, are they providing you a benefit that has some illegal aspect to it? So believe it or not, these types of questions get asked pretty regularly amongst attorneys and benefits and compensation professionals. So that delicate balance about what is defensible and what is legal is also a major issue to consider. As I mentioned earlier, who should be protected by benefits? And there's a different, kind of theory or thought process on how that looks. Most companies have probationary periods where you have to, go through a 30, 60, 90-day probationary period before you're even eligible. That's one way. So that way somebody can't start on day one, have a major surgery, get all of it covered, and then quit the next day. So companies usually have probationary periods to prevent stuff like that. What dependents are covered? Most companies won't cap the number of kids that are covered. So if you have 10 kids, they'll cover those 10 kids, but they're not going to cover them indefinitely. Some companies say, okay, once that child turns 18, he or she is no longer covered. A lot of companies have even taken up to as high as age 26 or 27, where they will still cover a dependent. So that is a major thing to consider. Should retirees be covered? So once you officially retire from your job, should you be able to come back on the company's health insurance plan before you take Medicare, for example? So that is something to consider. If you are an employee and you happen to die while you work, should the company cover your spouse or your dependents after you have died? A death benefit, if you will. That's something to be considered. So all these different things. Then full-time versus part-time. Most companies will cover their full-time workers, but if you're part-time, you usually don't get access to these types of benefits, or you get much less access to the benefits. So these are the types of questions that always have to be asked when we're looking at our budget and who should be covered on our benefits plans. And as I mentioned, cost containment is still a major issue to deal with when it comes to benefits and benefit options. We talked about probationary periods and limitations. A lot of companies have co-pays where they'll, every time you go to the doctor, you'll pay $30 towards your visit, and then anything that's beyond that will be picked up by insurance. Obviously, there are certain things where we have to, health insurance, it's not unlimited. We may have to deny service. For pure example, a lot of companies won't cover cosmetic surgery. So if you wanted to go and have some type of cosmetic surgery, let's say you wanted to, get, Botox or something along those lines in your face, a lot of companies won't cover that because it's more of an elective surgery. It's not absolutely required for your general health. So a lot of times companies are becoming more and more strict on what types of of things they will cover and what they won't cover. Another thing that you see pretty regularly is a lot of times, you may have to have a minor surgery, and instead of checking into the hospital for 2 or 3 days and all the costs that incur with that, if your doctor offers a out of patient or out of office surgery, so you literally walk in the morning, have the surgery, and leave in the afternoon, your insurance company may require that instead of that couple days stay in the hospital unless there's complications. So little things like that companies can do and make it a part of their health insurance plan to make sure that we're not overexceeding the value of how much we're paying. Outsourcing and becoming self-insured and things along those lines are different ways that companies can try to maintain costs. Instead of maintaining it all in-house, they may outsource it to a third party who's more of an expert in those areas and can help manage the process itself. So again, all these different options. The main thing I want you to take away from this chapter is, yes, companies literally can almost offer any benefit they want, but like as with anything else, there's a cost with every single thing that they do. So companies don't have unlimited budget, so they have to be very cautious about what they offer and make sure that they're still being fiscally responsible. How much can I offer my employees? How many benefits can I give them and still maintain their loyalty and recruit people to the company, but not break the bank doing so? Thanks, everyone. We'll continue this discussion in Chapter 14.